Like people be talking shit, like
Blog
whatever.
Talk Radio.
All right. Mm-mm.
Like just super rude. Anywho,
Precious.
hey guys, it's your girl Sunny D. Welcome to tonight's show. Willie say what up?
What up, though? It's your boy Willie Styles. What's good, people?
Right, we got a great podcast for y'all lined up. Hopefully Clint will be able to join us later. If not, Henry handle Clint. We already know why you're not on the show tonight, but if you are
Yes,
missing,
sir.
hopefully again it is February 17th, 2020, guys. We're middle of February. Here happening. There's a lot of stuff happening. So February's a little bit longer. So that's great.
Right.
Everybody say I keep seeing so many million stuff mentioned short this month. Why we got to pay real rent?
The rent, the same rent, right?
I think y'all funny.
That is a valid question. I mean, I just want to know,
Yeah.
where my 3 day discount for my rent.
Yeah, we need 10% off.
Exactly, something. I mean, it's Black History Month too. I think I should get a discount.
As a black person, we should get a discount on our rent or mortgage.
Right.
Well, that'd be dope. You know how dope that would be?
Man, I would love it. I have rent and mortgage. That's the crazy part. So
Oh, you
I need a little bit of both.
See, I just have mortgage. I'm all about the 10% off.
Right.
It's a big help. Y'all don't even know.
Look at us dreaming. We dreamers.
Or just get a check in the mail. This is a check in the mail because we black. I don't know. Send like a full 500 real quick or a 650. That's a good number. 650. Send us a good 650. We'll be set. Just for the month of February. Surprise! Pick any day.
I know surprises, right?
We have to go on the set day. I don't want to go on the first. Just give it to us on some random day.
Right.
You know. That like let's see if we can get some preparation. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But anyway, if you're listening right now, you're on blogtalk.com/GFT radio show. We're trying to get paid.
Right. Please excuse us as we try to get y'all some payments, get y'all some. We're doing it for y'all. It's for the people.
Now, I think that would be a good start. We need to talk to the reparations community and let's figure this out.
Right.
Hit up GFT radio. We got some ideas of how we can get our money. But anywho, you catch the playback on Google Play Music, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. What am I missing? Apple Podcasts.
iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio.
Yeah, iHeartRadio. We everywhere. Y'all just type our name in Google and find us. Like, subscribe, follow, all that. Just follow us. And definitely go to GFT Radio Store and cop some merch. Go to teespring.com/stores/GFT Radio. I added a tote bag and some kids wear. So y'all kids can have sweatshirts and t-shirts that say GFT if y'all support this podcast. I know I'm going to have my son laced up, but he be making me mad because he be, like, I be dressing him all nice, on Fridays you get dressed down.
Oh,
and he
right.
put his uniform, get mad and put his uniform shirt on. The long sleeve one, it can't even be the short sleeve. I'm like, it's not, like, sometimes on Saturdays, uniform. I'm like, no. Like, you could chill out. And he, Mama, I want to put this on. To the store, he put in his uniform shirt. But mind you, he'll take it off and then be like, take it off and be trying to put on a uniform shirt. So I had to talk to him about some uniform podcast I had to do. So he could promote or uniform shirts he got embroidered. I don't know. Trying to get happy, get our name out there. Don't mind me.
right. Gotta have all the promotions we can get.
Right? But anyway, we got to sign up for y'all tonight. If you want to chime in, 657-383-1155. If you talk about dating, you shoot your shot, you score, and what's next. But before we jump into that, Black History Month, we just said that 5 seconds ago. So we want to highlight and share some Black History. So we're not even Black History, well, it is Black History. So, Willie, you want to go first or you want me to?
Ladies first, go for it.
Okay. So guys, usually we either do a highlight of somebody in Black History or we choose to read or stuff like that. I think me and Willie both got poems tonight. So one
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with is Maya Angelou. Who's not familiar with her? Her poem Cage Bird. I don't know why, but I was just I don't know why this poem stuck out to me. I had like a really um odd week, had a lot happening, emotions all over the place and stuff like that. For whatever reason, this poem really resonated with me. So I know we always hear the other poems of hers, but we really this one, so I wanted to share it with you guys who don't know, especially to the young that might listen to our podcast that don't know who Maya Angelou is. You have parents have failed you, and we need you to go through her and read about her poem "Still I Rise." But a poem called "Cage Bird." The free bird back of the wind and floats downstream to the current ends, and dips wings in orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with fearful trill on things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds softly through the sighing trees, and the fat worm waiting on the dawn bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shout out on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of things unknown but long for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Um, I really like that poem. It really resonated with me, so hope you guys pick up
Oh
more
yeah.
poems like that. She was talented, right? Yeah. This poem was published in her first book called Why Don't You Sing in 1983. I was born in 83, so the things happened in 1983. And the poem is basically a metaphor illustrating the differences between African and white Americans in the Civil War era. So check it out and look up. If you don't know about it, read about it. Something you learn
Right.
every day.
No doubt. No doubt.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely love Maya Angelou and her poems. She's written a couple speeches as well, and has done um a lot of motivational quotes as well. So, which I know some of them come from her poems, some come from just things that she said. So, definitely an icon in the literary community as well as
If you're a writer,
in
you
Black
should know about
history.
her. A poet, you should know about her.
Right, right. If no one else, definitely she's one of the icons of poetry to know about. Besides like Langston Hughes and trying to think it was another person that I was going to mention when you were talking about her. But yeah,
James James
definitely.
Baldwin. Uh,
Say it
was it
again.
James Baldwin?
Oh no, James
Well, I said,
Baldwin was the author. Yeah, James Baldwin and Toni Morrison, they're authors. They're definitely more literary giants in the black
yeah.
community. So I'm gonna bring to you guys a lesser known author she's actually a poet um, by the name of Elizabeth Alexander. She was born in Harlem, New York, in 1962, and grew up in Washington D.C.
I
She
heard of her.
currently serves. I'm sorry.
I heard of her before.
Oh, okay. Yep. And she currently serves as Chancellor of the Academy of American Poets. Um, Miss Alexander is well known for the last 20 some odd years of writing poetry and poetry books and collections, including The Crave Radiance, New and Selected Poems, American Sublime, and Antebellum Dream Book. So definitely look out for some of her works. So today I'm going to bring to you guys a poem that I discovered from her called Tending. Um, Hopefully you like it, and definitely check, like I said, check her out.
Yeah.
Tending. In the pull-out bed with my brother, in my grandfather's Riverton apartment, my knees and ankles throbbed from growing, pulsing so hard they kept me awake. Or was it the Metro North train cars flying past the apartment, rocking the walls? Or was it the sound of apartment front doors, as heavy as prison doors clanging shut? Was the black nation whispering to me from the jet magazine stacked on the floor, or was it my brother's unfamiliar ions vibrating, humming in his easeful sleep? Tomorrow, as always, grandfather will rise to the Spanish town cock's crow deep in his head and perform his usual ablutions and prepare the apartment for the day and peel fruit for us and prepare a hot meal that can take us anywhere and onward. Did sleep elude me because I could feel the heft of unuttered love in his tending? Our small bodies, love a silent, mammoth thing that overwhelmed me, that kept me awake, as my growing bones did, growing larger than anything else I would know. All right, that was Tending, and it was from her Crave Radiance collection.
That's dope.
Yeah, yeah. This kind of reminded me of a poem that I read from Langston Hughes a long time ago. Just kind of talking about the black experience, right? And
Mhm.
talking about the experiences that we have either as children or as young adults, or the metaphorical experiences that we have that have affected us, and speaking about things like she had mentioned about the Metro North train cars, growing up in an area where you can literally feel the subways, where you can hear the people, where you can feel the atmosphere of what people are going through. Like when she mentioned about the apartment doors, heavy as prison doors clanging shut. Talking about Jet magazines, I know some of the youngest already know about Jet
Yeah, y'all know
magazines,
about
but
that.
we grew up on that kind of stuff. We had black magazines that spoke to us, that talked to us about black current events, or sometimes not so
More
current,
just
but
as
but good enough. We needed that black experience to speak to us, and so this poem kind of spoke to me in that regard. Thinking about, I wasn't raised by my grandparents, but I did have my grandmother in my life early on, as well as my children had their grandfather, tend to them as children. Luckily, he made it to all of them before he passed on. So, definitely that experience of knowing the village, that raises you, not just the family, not just your parents. So no doubt the black experience is a rich one. So.
yeah. That was definitely a dope one. So you gonna jump right into this topic?
Yeah, let's jump into this topic. So, I think that this is one I had brought to the team.
Yes.
I was talking to a friend of mine about her recent experience with dating, and her recent issues that she's had with with dealing with people that either don't really know what to do. Like, 'cause this was her thing. She's one of those highly sought after people that people see her, or they see her online and things like that, and first thing they want to do, they want to jump in her DMs. And she was making a comment like, like, even if I give them the time of day, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what time it is. So,
It just say dumbness.
if I, huh?
It just say dumbness.
Exactly. You know, they just excited that they got that far. You know, that kind of thing. I saw a meme like that the other day, a couple months ago, where it was like, you know, like what do you do next? Like, you know, I didn't think I would get this far. You know, it's like, you know, that's kind of how they approach the situation. And you know, so it had me thinking about, you know, dating these days. It is a crapshoot sometimes for some people. You know, some people are, you know, they're just jumping into it, you know, with no background, no training, no clue. You know, they haven't watched a good romantic movie, or they haven't seen you know, any of the social media posts on things, ideas, you know, that you should do, or they don't even try. You know, so I was like, you know, this will be a good topic, because I think a lot of people are out there either, you know, searching for help, or, you know, don't realize that they need help. So I felt like it was something we should talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Because I just feel I know for me, um, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I want to say I'm dating. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
That's bad. When you don't even know what the fuck you're doing, then
No,
yeah,
because I think I'm
that could
doing
pose
it
a
wrong. Like
problem.
I keep saying that. No, I keep saying that because I feel like I'm doing this dating thing wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
people are like, "No, you're doing it the way you're supposed to," and I'm like, "No, I think I'm doing it wrong because it's not ending the way it's like, it's not going the natural course of steps it's supposed to go. It's just I don't know what the fuck. It's like stagnant, or it just doesn't go anywhere, or whatever. Like I can compare situations, and like I get what you're saying about your friend because um people slide in my DM. I call it sliding in the DM, right? I
Mm-hmm.
get that. It's one or two ways people are gonna approach me. Is they're gonna approach me face to face, outbursting with some craziness, or they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
slide in my DM because they saw me out somewhere. Like, oh, I saw you. Hey, and for me, it's two problems. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it because so if I don't know you and I see you somewhere like a second ago, and then I go home, I got a message request from you saying, "Hey, I just saw you. Hey, pretty girl, I just saw you in the store." It's like, why didn't you talk to me when you saw me? Why would you wait? Like, and then my real name is not a common name,
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
I'm freaked out about how did you find me? Like nobody
Pro-
says my name out
prob-
loud in public.
Probably because you don't have a common name.
What you say?
I said probably because you don't have a common name. That makes it a little easier.
Nobody says my name out loud.
We know who you are, Sharika.
My real name unless I have to. So that's what creeps me out. I get called my real
Right.
name only. It's very rare that I'm out and about and somebody actually says my government.
All right. Right.
So
I see.
for you to find me on Facebook, it's creepy as hell to me. I don't know
Right.
if Facebook got a vicinity thing or Snapchat or Instagram got a vicinity thing, but it's usually Facebook that they slide in my. I'm thinking Facebook because it's always Facebook they slide in the DM like, yo, I just saw you at the store. You look really pretty. And it's like, when the fuck did you find me? That's creepy as hell. And then my thing is, you better off approaching me. Yeah, I may
How
shut
many?
you down
Wait. How many times has this happened?
quite a few. That's why
Really?
I was.
Maybe they. I wonder if they do, because you know they do have that
I
Facebook
think it's
dating
Facebook
app
has
now.
because, like, literally, when I moved here, I saw this guy in the store. The next was it the next day or that day he was in my inbox, and I didn't realize he was in my inbox. He saw me again at the store, and he was like, "Yo, you ain't see my inbox message?" And I looked at him like he was crazy. I was like, "What?" And that's what made me say something to him. And I went and he's a message. Sure enough, the guy that was talking to me was in my inbox as a message request. And his message was, and I quote, "Hey, pretty girl, just saw you in the store. You look really pretty. You got a man?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's creepy as hell." So
Right.
I'm a
Yeah.
got a GPS stamp that if you around people, it show up who like any people you may know because I'm not around you motherfuckers and you keep showing up like y'all keep sliding in my DM. So like the normal. I comment on your status and somebody think I'm cute, they're gonna inbox me because they know you. But it's like, no, I just saw you in the store and I barely recognize you because I don't know people. I don't pay attention to people. I don't look people in their face, so I didn't even know you.
Right. Mm-mm.
And then I had one guy be so bold as to tell me, so this is how he slid in my inbox, and this is why I don't respond to message requests. This is why I just ignore them now because I was just really taken back by this. This mo hit me on my inbox and said, you like lingerie. I can see you wearing purple lingerie and blah blah blah, and I just was like, yeah, no. So he's gonna stay on message request. Why would you inbox me and say that to me?
Just
Like
came straight came straight at you.
yes, like that's your first approach. That's how we're doing it, sir.
Right.
Like so, I really think that it's not what you do, it's how you do things, and you don't. First impression is everything, and DMs at this point are first impressions. You need to be able to communicate. I need you to spell your words right and really make sense of what you're trying to say to me. And don't say fuck shit to me because I'm just looking at you like you're crazy and you're going to stay on my message request.
Right.
Because that's crazy.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I ain't even going to front. I slid in the DM. I have at some point in time in my life slid in somebody's DM and I'm hitting you up and say, hey, how you doing? Because I already know your name. I'm just, hey. Like, I don't even do that because the wave is creepy, too. I actually say, hey, how are you?
Right,
Or, hey,
right.
or, no, I don't say, hey, I ain't even going to lie. I say, hey, how are you? Just to start, like, I didn't even, then I learned my lesson because I got shut down immediately. I was like, oh, damn,
Oh,
okay.
really? Oh, wow.
I thought I was cute. I wasn't.
They were like,
And
nah, no, I'm
I
not with
shut
you.
down, but, people be rude as hell when they shut down.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've had to shut people down just because it was like, yeah, I'm good, that kind of stuff, but never like rude, like, because usually, so long as you just make it clear, they understand. They're not about to chase you. I mean, well, I guess at least with women, we know y'all not about to chase us. Yeah, y'all on the other hand have a whole different set of problems when it comes to.
No, see, I'm gonna see. Now, I don't know if I'm being difficult, but like, here's my thought on sliding in a DM, or generally having a conversation or flirting, whatever the case may be. I'm a flirt. I can flirt with you and not even like you, you know. So I know that it's guys that can do that. They slide in everybody DM trying to see what everybody doing. So my standard issue is to reject and then see if you come differently. Because if I'm gonna reject you came at me completely wrong. Now, if you're bold enough, because I'm not gonna shut you down immediately. Like no, depending on what you say to me, I may shut you down immediately, expeditiously, and show you the door and tell you how to get there. But if you come at me and it's a little off, I'm gonna do a nice, I'm gonna say a nice no and put it in the bone and then give it to you as a gift. You know what I'm saying? Be real nice about it. And then that for me that's an opportunity for you to come back and because I don't do gray. You're gonna be real clear. When you talk to me, I need you to be clear on what your intentions are, because I'm gonna ask you. I don't need that gray shit.
Right.
Like if you trying to smash, let me know you're trying to smash. I'm gonna tell you that I'm not. That's not where I'm at. If you trying to really genuinely talk with the purpose of dating and try to go further, then we could talk. But like you could tell that about how they approach you. So you're gonna try to my team, try to be like I don't got time to guess whether or not you're trying to flirt me, like, I'm one of them people, like, and that's a problem because people get mad at me and be like, oh, you flirting with somebody? No. I'm not gonna assume that people just because somebody talks to me they flirting with me. You have to be clear that you're trying to talk to me because until you make that clear, I'm not gonna think you're talking to me. I just think that I'm not gonna think you're trying to talk to me. I'm gonna think that you're just making conversation because you was bored that day. Because I'll do that. Like, I'll make you talk to me. I'll talk to you. And because guess what? I'm up at 2:00 in the morning and I'm bored. I don't want you, but I'm bored and I got time to sit there and have a full phone conversation about a bunch of fucking nothing.
I mean, unless the guy is not interested in women, more than likely any man that brings up a conversation to you probably wants to talk to you. I can pretty much guarantee you nine times out of 10 they probably want to talk to you on the initial approach. It just all depends on how it goes down, right? How the conversation goes down. That's what it's going to depend on. So it's definitely uh,
See, I don't
the
do
main
that.
reason.
I don't sit there and talk to you because they're bored. I do it.
Yeah, most men aren't bored. Most men aren't that bored. They really I can guarantee you that. So
So
and
you should take it.
I think that's the difference. And it's funny to me because I think about that. I haven't been like out dating recently in like the last few years. So I definitely and I guess I was lucky enough that between my divorce and my current relationship, it was like a very short amount of time that I actually had to get out here and kind of figure things out. But that was the one thing that I kind of noticed is like when women approach me and probably 5 or 6 times out of 10, it was because they're bored. Either they're bored, they really just want to talk about nothing, just shoot the shit, and they and nothing is really up. Whereas so we have to basically kind of read into what's really happening, if it's really something going on. And I kind of look at it as like the situation of, do you really want to talk to this person initially versus after you talk to them, do you really still want to talk to them? If you still really want to get to know them better, after the fact, because I know I felt like I was approached by this one young lady, and I think after we kind of kicked it for a minute, she went to the side of, you know what, I don't think this is really the right person for me to get to know, but he seems cool, so I'm just gonna, continue this friendship versus trying to pursue a relationship kind of deal. But then again, I kind of wasn't as interested in her initially anyway, so I didn't approach her that way. So I think that's the one thing, women are good at kind of picking up on the nuances and kind of taking the direction of where the conversation is going or where the interaction is going.
Well,
So
I think female, I'm broken because I get yelled at by the person I don't know what I'm doing with currently. He's like, yo, you flirting. I'm like, I wasn't flirting with nobody. Like, I just have conversations with people. Like, I be bored. I got time. I'm sitting there. I'll have a full-blown conversation about a bunch of nothing to people because I'm bored. I don't flirt with them. He's like, well, they flirting with you. Maybe they are, but they haven't made any. For me, I don't consider it a flirt if you haven't really established, like if you haven't really made it, like made your intentions known, like whether you did it plainly or you did it like in
hmm
a non-direct way, an indirect way. But I don't do like, but maybe because I'm not, my mentality is that there's no, like, I don't respect the gray. I respect the black and white.
Right, right.
So you don't
Yeah, I mean, I think
out
that's
and
a
out
preference.
say nothing to me. I'm not going to just assume that you really like you really talking to me like that. Like, you have to be, and I'm like that with relationships. Like, we need to have clarifications and stuff because I don't want to assume anything. If I have a question or I think something, I'm going to need you to clarify because I don't want to go on thinking that and that's not what it is. I need that black and white so I can understand my movements going forward.
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely agree that once you're in a relationship, things need to be stark black and white, or at least, there needs to be a discussion, a serious discussion about things that aren't clear or that you guys aren't on the same page on. That does need to be clarified or discussed so that everything is kind of outlined. I mean, I think the initial situation with dating is the problem of who's going to shoot that shot and who's going to make that first step. You have some people who want the person pursuing them to pursue them, and they're not going to even consider it until they're pursued. That's your situation. And then you have a certain people who want to feel some kind of connection there before they pursue, and they want to see if the other person is either digging them or vibing with them before they try to make that move. And a lot of times that person will miss out because they're busy waiting on the other person while the other person's waiting on them. And I know that's definitely, I'm pretty sure that's happened to me more often than not because I kind of feel like you do. I'm like, I want I want some kind of assurity that there's something there before I make an approach, or I want to feel like it's something worth pursuing because not in the past for me it was I didn't want the rejection, but now
Mhm.
I just don't want the trouble. You know what I mean? Because I think it's too much wishy-washiness out there, or too much using. You know, because I've been used a couple of times, maybe several times, where it's like I show my hand, and then they start picking cards out of the out of the hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So it's like they'll use the fact that I'm into them against me in order to get what they want. With no plans on reciprocating or no plans on pursuing it, from their side. So I think a lot of times for me, it's a protective mechanism. It's like I want to see what you're doing before I do anything, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's people who are just totally oblivious. I mean, a friend of mine, she's definitely one of those types. I mean, I had a guy, or she had a guy rather approach her, and it was painfully obvious to me that he wanted to talk to her. He came to me knowing that I was her friend and was like, "What's up with your girl?" So he made it even a step further. You know what I mean? And so so I mentioned to her like, "Hey, were you interested in that guy?" Blah blah blah. And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, seemed like he was coming at you. It's like he wanted to get with you or whatever. He wanted to holler at you or whatever." And she's like, "Really? Like, when did that happen?" I'm like, "Dude, like." The guy literally asked you question A, question B, question. He can ask you all the top questions of how can I get to know you better. You know what I mean? I mean, it was
He was out
painful.
there asking
It
questions.
was
That's what
painful. I mean, it was ridiculously painful. The man asked, "Are you married?" He asked. I mean, he was asking like all the right questions that most women would immediately know. Oh, this guy is trying to get at me. He really wants.
yeah.
He really wants to try to date me off rip, right? That kind of thing. She just because he didn't say, "Hey, I would like to take you on a date." She didn't understand that he was. She thought he was just making conversation. She literally thought he was making conversation. To this day, I don't know how this woman got married because I'm like, well, I do because her husband is super straightforward. I mean, he did come out to her and just immediately told her like, "Look, I want to date you." Blah 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 blah. That's the only way he got in the door, like because he was that
Yeah.
blunt and that
I'm
direct.
not that bad. I just need you to make me
She's
like
clueless,
kind of give
like
me that hint that you're
clueless.
trying to flirt and talk to me.
Yeah, no, you have to hand her a card that says "I want to date you" before she'll realize that your conversation is on that tip. So, but there's a lot of
No,
people like that out there, and it's crazy because
that
it's people, right? It's what
my
I would say
friend get
it's
on me
what we're
because
accustomed
she
to.
say to me, my friend get on me because she be like, when we be out, like we could be out going to get lunch from work, and she's
Hmm.
like, that guy was checking you out. I'm oblivious to that shit, and I tell her like, listen, I don't pay attention to people. Like I really don't. When I'm out and
Right.
about, I don't pay attention to people. Sometimes even now, I don't gotta be out and about. Like the guy that cuts my grass, can you ask me what he look like? I have no idea. This man cut my grass for the entire time I've been living here. I don't know what he looks like. I have to be reminded. Oh, that's so and so. Oh, that's him. Like that's.
Right.
the
Right.
I don't pay attention to people, and that's how bad it is. If I pay attention to you, something about you done caught me, because I don't pay attention to people. And she like, that guy was just checking you out. You ain't see him. I'm like, no. She like, what was you? She, you ain't feel him? Like, nah, I was in my own little world, just in my own. I was sipping and drinking, enjoying my life. I wouldn't think about that shit. Like,
Right.
I'm like that, but not that bad. But I do want to
Yeah.
talk um the difference. So I want to talk about the courting thing, about that, because so I want to ask you a question before I even get to that. Do people know, like, what do you think? Like, tell me what you think. How am I doing this right? So like, I meet people, right? I meet somebody, I like them. I can meet a couple people. Say if I meet three people on 3 different days, right?
Mhm.
And I click with one more than the others, and the others, I'll do the text messaging game, blah blah blah. And if one seems more my speed, that's the person I talk to, and that's it. The other people are dead to me, in a sense. So like once I find a person that I'm actually like has got my attention, that's who I focus on. So I don't like. I know my friends
Right.
get on there
Okay.
about not eating a couple people at the same time. Like I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the time for that. Um, like I really don't. Between my work schedule, school, and all the stuff I got going on, I don't have time. I don't have time to date two or three people. One person, see if we work, we don't work. Okay, I can eventually move on. But I get yelled at a lot about not dating a couple people at the same time, or like talking to a couple people, or just seeing where it goes and then down and down. So I know that's a part of courting, but because back in the day when they courted, they talked to only one person.
Hmm.
They talked to multiple
Well,
people. They took them out, sip tea on the porch with the parents watching, stupid shit
so
like that.
well, no, okay, so that was the one thing I wanted to talk about too, because I think what a lot of people have a misconception because I this was my thing. So, the back in the day theories, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, back in the day, this is how things were done, and back in the day, and I think we get TV confused with real life. You know what I mean? I think what we see in old movies and what we see on TV about what happened in the past, we get so caught up in what we saw in those images.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord forbid that aliens are watching TV to determine who humans are because they would think we're monsters and crazy people and ridiculous ratchet folks. So
You
hopefully
are.
they're not using that. So I think that's one problem that us as especially Americans. I mean, I don't know how people in other countries feel about this, about what they see in their television shows and movies. But I know us as Americans, we get so wrapped up in what we saw and Leave It to Beaver and then Gone with the Wind. We swear that's what's happening everywhere. Those are subsets of culture and subsets of communities that had no effect on the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you talk to people who lived in that time period, you may still get some skewed perspectives because one, you got to think about it's all about region, right? It's regional. If you talk to somebody in the South, they may have done things different than things that people did in the North, or people that did in the West versus what people did in the Midwest. Things like that. So you also got to keep that in mind. But one thing that I did find just in doing a little bit of people research was that not all courting was the same across the board. Not in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, some people courted differently. One thing that I did find, and actually I've seen today with certain religious groups, is that people court in groups, not one on one. That was one thing. People did not go on one on one dates for a large, you know, for largely for the fact of they weren't allowed to. It just wasn't
Right.
it wasn't proper, especially for young ladies, right? Secondly, out of the understanding that there's multiple people who could fit your situation. When courting became a thing, because you got to remember too, prior to courting there was arranged relationships,
Mm-hmm.
more formal in certain countries where you know literally your parents or your grandparents decided who you would marry. You didn't date at all, you just married the next person. Versus in certain areas or regions where parents got together and they decided together as groups of parents who would introduce their kids to each other in order to try to build bigger empires, bigger relationships in that family or group or in that fraternity. You know what I mean? Because they wanted to kind of upbuild their community in such a way, getting the right families together. But when they did get more put into the hands of the people who were actually dating, it was a group thing, and a lot of times it was for the reason that you're getting yelled at. Is because people understood you needed to get to know who you were going to date before you dated them. You needed to understand who had your best interest in mind, or who was going in the same direction as you, or who you clicked with better. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you didn't have that opportunity, you know, in school or in church or whatever the case may be. So they basically got in groups, go out, have fun, have a good time, and then through that group familiarity, then you pick and choose who you want to, eventually groom into dating with, dating. And then do all the what we see on TV, the traditional, go talk to the parents, go hang out on the porch, all that kind of stuff. So that was, because it was funny to me because I found it out because my mom had talked to me about that, and then my dad mentioned it, and these are two people who dated at different times in history. My father was born in the 20s, my mom was born in the 60s. The the regions were different as well. Where my father grew up, I mean, they both kind of grew up in Detroit, but my mom's parents were from the South, and my dad's parents from the North. So so you got to definitely think that there was some nuances there, and for both of them to mention that, and then I started to do some research on that and found that that was kind of a common thing, especially for religious, especially for people in the South, in the Mid South, and as well as the Midwest. That was the thing that was done. So so going out with multiple people kind of is in the same vein, and I definitely understand your point about timing, right? It's all about timing. It's about energy. It's about what do you have the opportunity to do, and that becomes a challenge because you have kids, you have work, you have school. And I mean, you're a good one to be dating anyway, because most people. I have a friend right now who's doing a doctorate, but her son's grown, and her job she works from home half the time, or she has her own business. But it's like, she's like, I don't have time to date. She goes out, but she doesn't date because she's like, I just don't have time. So you're definitely doing good, even to even be trying to date. So I definitely don't blame you there. But I think it's a good idea for people to get out there and have multiple options up front, to begin with, just to kind of understand what they're looking for,
Mhm.
and to kind of get a sense of what's available to them at the time. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like put your eggs in one basket kind of idea, right?
Mhm.
But I do agree with you that once you do make a decision, like, hey, you know what? I think I really want to pursue this person, and they seem to be wanting to pursue me, and it seems to be a good idea. I do agree. It's less confusing, and it's less, you have less of a tendency to kind of screw things up if you focus, right,
Yeah.
and you are able to give that person, the respect and attention that you would want from them.
Yeah, 'cause I don't got time for that. Like, I mean, just for me personally, I can't. It's too much. Even when I didn't have all this stuff, that's how I did it. I've been doing
Hmm.
this for as long as I've been dating, and I really
Yeah.
can't. I really don't. I really can't sit there. I'll start off talking to like two or three people, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. and
Yeah. Well, and I
now
think another.
it's my one person. You're
Yeah.
my one person.
I think another issue we have though in this day and age is about courting, about dating, and about really trying to build relationships is what is people's end goal. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are just kind of out here to date. They're not really out here. I mean, I can't remember the guy's name, but I know you remember the guy who called in a few months ago, who was talking
Mhm.
about the sandwich situation, right? Or the meal daters, the ones that are dating just for a meal,
Oh
and
yeah,
and there is a lot of people out here like that who really are just out here looking for a meal, or who are really out here just looking for a temporary good time. They want to
yeah,
eat, they want to have sex, they want to get money from you, or they want bags and all that other kind of stuff, and that's all they care about. They're not really
yeah.
looking to build an actual relationship, or they're not really actually looking to uplift themselves and upgrade you and all this other kind of stuff. They're just looking for what's available right now. So
Absolutely.
I think that's the other issue that we're facing, especially people who are looking for relationships, is dealing with how to peel back that layer from people and understand what their intentions are. And
Mhm.
intentions are definitely everything. What people say versus what their intentions are two hugely different things a lot of times, because sometimes people even have good good intentions on what they're saying, but they just can't deliver. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it becomes a problem of how do you peel back that layer, or how do you strip that apart from others and realize who's really out to get you or who's really out to make you a better person?
Yeah, I think, and then it kind of ties into the next thing about preparing to date in 2020. It's a lot of difference in dating now as it was previous. Dating now in 2020 is you got so many things to be prepare yourself for, especially with a lot of people changing their sexual orientation because they're trans. I know that somebody posted a meme about that, about dating now in 2020 is scary because you don't know if you're dating a him, but it might, you think you're dating a her and it might not be. So that's a factor. You got to know, that you got catfish at an all-time high right now. Catfishing is at a high right now, and then you just don't know. Like, it's so many different factors in dating. You're meeting these people, you don't know them. There's so many online datings when you meet people, bad things can happen. It's just so much different. It's so different now. Not that it's just 2020.
Gaslighting. Yeah, I say the gaslighting, the narcissism.
Yes.
The people who are unsure who they are. People who are unsure who they are or where they're going, be it physically, sexually, or even just mentally. A lot of people are just confused.
Well, I was going to say, you have people that are just not
mature,
not mature enough, or not ready, or just they're just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. People just are. Well, that's what I'm going to say. Hurt people. You have hurt people.
Yeah.
In this dating field that just want to hurt other people because they've been hurt.
Yeah. I mean, I think bottom line, the thing is this: you do have to kind of approach dating just like you approach almost anything that's going to affect your life for the next 5, 10, 20 years. Is you have to approach it understanding or getting an understanding of what you're going to deal with, right? You have to do your research, just like you do your research for a job. Do your research for dating. Understand what type of people are out here. Sometimes you can't listen to your friends because sometimes they just want you to go date. They just want you to get out. But also, you can't ignore what's happening around them either. You have to pay attention, because sometimes the people around you are going to show you what's really out there. They're gonna experience things and they're gonna go through things, and you're gonna encounter the same situations, or you're gonna encounter the same problems, or good things. It could be positive. You're gonna encounter the same things out there in this world. So you have to be conscious. You have to either be conscious or you have to ask questions. Especially if you look at somebody and say, what are they doing right, or what are they doing wrong, or what's going right for them, or what's going wrong for them. And one thing that I never had anybody have this, but definitely want to offer this out to people. Is the fact of just, space, having space from a person. My situation is not ideal, especially not for a lot of people because they can't handle it. It's hard enough for me and my fiance, but so I wouldn't recommend having 1,000 miles of space, but having enough space though to really get to know the person, to really understand who you're dating, to really understand the type of person you're dealing with. Because I think too often we jump into these relationships and, day 1, day 2, we're having sex with these people. Day 3, we're talking about marriage. We haven't even had enough time to understand the person's psyche and their personality, their work ethic, or their ability to even provide, or their ability to handle the provisions that you're going to give them, or whatever the case may be. So I think a lot of times you have to give each other space to kind of work things through, and not just trying to work things out immediately. You know what I mean? So I think, approaching it slowly, not jumping.
I think you just tapped into my life when you said the last comments about giving each other space to work things through and not trying to do it immediately. Sometimes you need to take a step back. I have the tendency to address that issue head on, and it's just like bumping heads, and you got to start back over. And then once you take time away, you kind of come back with a clear head. You're like, I was wrong. Here's why.
And then to your point about being on the same page about things, or being clear about things, I think a lot of times we make assumptions in relationships because sometimes we feel like we may feel like we're getting the point of what we need, or we're expressing what we need from a relationship, and don't and then get upset with the person that we're dating because we feel like they're not understanding us, but we never really took the time to talk to them about it. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I always tell people: communication. And I know lately I've been seeing people trying to minimize what communication can do for a relationship. Um, but I think one of the ones that I do like is the one that says it's not all about communication. It's about comprehension. But
Comprehension, you gotta understand where that person's coming from.
exactly. But the thing is, good communication brings good comprehension. So I think they're missing the point on that. But I'm with them. I'll let them have that one. But I think that
Communicate, and that's one. That's to your point too. Some people don't know how to communicate properly what their issue is.
right. But if
So you
you
can't.
do get them to understand that they need to be understood, or that the other person they need to
You
understand the other person. I'm sorry.
about it.
Go say it again. I couldn't hear you.
Oh no, I was saying like if there's an issue and I'm asking what the issue is so I can rectify it, you have to open up because you can't. That's another thing. You can't blame somebody for something that you don't tell them that they're doing wrong.
True. True that. True
You're
that.
gonna allow
Yeah.
people doing it, keep getting mad. It's never gonna go anywhere because you're not expressing yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah. So I definitely agree that I think people need to better understand and comprehend what the other person is trying to explain to them. And if you don't get it, let them know, hey, I don't understand, or I don't get it, or I'm still lost, or whatever the case may be. And don't be upset with the person because they don't understand, because obviously that means that something you're missing something in the explanation, or maybe they just need a better example, or maybe y'all need to see counseling or something. I think a lot
Yeah,
of times people don't realize that counseling doesn't always mean you got to go to a doctor. Sometimes it could just be a trusted friend. It could be a mediary, somebody who can mediate between the two of you and say, look, this is what she means, or this is what he means. This is what they want, and this is what they need. Somebody who can kind of get in between y'all and kind of offer a unbiased approach to getting you two on the same page. So
absolutely.
I think a lot of times people have to understand that it doesn't have to be so you know it doesn't have to be challenging to date. It's just you have to be willing to work with the person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then
Want
the
to get the
one
number
thing
is 6 5.
go ahead and say again.
I want to get out the number really quickly. It's six
Oh,
five
go ahead.
seven three eight three 1155 if you want to join in on the conversation. But go ahead, Willie.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I think one of the things, and it was in the outline too, is I think people sometimes have to realize that they have to let go of the old relationships. They have to let go of the issues that they have faced, the failures that they have
I'm about to
encountered.
jump right into that too.
Yeah, so because it does hold people back, right? It keeps people from expressing themselves because they feel like, oh, well, the last person I expressed myself to took advantage of me, or if it makes them feel like they can't do certain things because the last person they were with,
I allow people in.
didn't want to do that, didn't want to do that, or didn't allow this, and they now they feel like, oh, well, maybe that's something we shouldn't be doing, and it's like, no, you approach every relationship brand new eyes. Understandings and preparedness is essential, but don't treat everybody as if they were they're bringing the same baggage that your last relationship had. Don't feel like that
Yeah,
they're the same narcissist that you dated last time, or that they're abusive like the person you were with two relationships ago, or that they don't like to do the same activities that the person three relationships ago didn't like to do. Don't treat people as if you've met them before when you're just trying to get to know them.
yeah. I wholeheartedly. I made a post about that too. I said, men always claim that women are bitter and they bring the past baggage into the new situation. Guys do it too.
Mhm. True
and
that.
it's both shouldn't do it. If that person has shown you, and I made a post too, and I wish I'm about to see if I can find it, but it basically was saying to that point of if somebody's showing you who they are, stop blaming them for other people's problems. Like if that person has never shown you that negative memory or past situation that you have been through, then don't make them pay for something that they didn't do. Like
Right.
you see for what they have shown you that entire time, because you guys been kicking it. So don't make them pay for something that they didn't put upon you. Because people do
Right.
that, It's like, well, this is what I've been through, and that's fine. Plus that you've been through that, we all been through stuff. I've been through a lot of things. I try not to put that on other people as well, but you can't put that on people and then get mad because you're basically blaming them for something they haven't even done.
True that. True that.
And you make them suffer for something they have never done.
hmm
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times people are feeling the pressure too of past relationships, right? Or the regrets rather. Um, you know, feeling like they need to either move faster in a relationship, they have to get over that as well. Um, the ultimatums that someone may have put on you in a previous relationship may not be the needs of the next person that you're with. Um, and I've seen that happen. Where they're trying like, oh, the last relationship I lost it because you know she was ready to get married and I wasn't ready to get married, and then now they're trying to hurry the next woman into getting married quick. And it's like, maybe she don't need that. Maybe she needs you to take your time and do do what's right for her, in her situation, not try to please the last woman with your new situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people need to look at dating somebody new with fresh eyes. Don't blame them for past situations. Let them show you who they are because they'll show you who they are whether they want to or not. Whether it's the actions and their words, all those things, how they react to certain situations, you'll see exactly who they are because of them.
Right, no doubt.
That's why you say you pay attention to everything, how they treat other people, how they when they people talk about their past relationship, how they talk about it, that do they take accountability, all these things you have to pay attention to, and that'll tell you who that person is. Nothing that your ex did is going to. Now I have a problem if I'm dating you and you start to remind me of my ex in a negative way. It's like, yeah, I need to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You do have
If
to
I'm
look out
seeing
for
a
red flags. That's true. You
pattern,
do
it's
have
like,
to
yeah,
look
I'm
out for
good.
red flags. Yeah,
I done been through that already. I don't need to go through it again.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I mean that goes back to, I think, a topic we had before was are you is it you right? It's like, are you drawing the bad not spirits, what do you call them, the are the people that you're pulling into your circle, due to the choices you're making, are you the
Yeah,
reason that every man that you date is a cheater and abusive, like,
yeah.
are you picking the same type of person? Sometimes you got to look at that, take a step back, like, maybe it's me. Maybe it's something
That's
I'm
what
doing.
that's where I'm at, right? That's what, like, dude, that's crazy. I just had a conversation with somebody and it kind of made me all depressed about it because I was like, yo, like, it's not necessarily the same type of person, but the same result.
Right, right.
So it's like, okay, no matter, it may be a completely different type of person, but it's the same result. And at this point, it's making me think, what the fuck is it about me that's getting that same result? Like, what am I doing wrong? Because obviously, I can't say it's these people or this. It's
hmm
something that I'm doing, and it's like I'm at. I don't know. Like, I know my son's dad tried to point out to me. I give out relationship. What do you say? I give out relationship things, and I'm not in a relationship. So I treat them like I'm in a relationship with them already. So why
Oh,
would
relationship
they?
vibes or whatever.
Yeah, so why would I? Why would I in a relationship if they getting it and they don't have to be in one? And it's like, well, if I'm dating you, like, I don't, maybe, like I said, maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Because I feel like if I'm dating you, you're the person I'm dating, we do stuff for each other.
Mm.
And I don't know.
I mean, I
And,
think in your situation, there maybe you have to approach it from the standpoint of establishing a baseline with the person, saying, "Hey, are we truly exclusive? Are we truly in a relationship in terms of are we really building towards marriage? Are we really building towards a relationship where we're doing things for each other? We're building a life together. Are we truly, have these checkpoints? And I used to like to do that in previous relationships. I think I kind of do it now with my current, but we've kind of been forced to checkpoint because of the fact that we only get together so many times a year. But it's like when you're in a relationship, you need to checkpoint. You need to determine what are you doing now that's either different in the past or has grown or that's progressing into something new, right? So you have to determine if everybody that's involved, well, everybody, two people that are involved, well, I guess everybody when it comes to polynormous, but
yeah.
make sure that everybody's still on the same page. Make sure that everybody is feeling the same way about the relationship because a lot of times people grow apart and don't realize it because they're not talking to each other or they're not communicating with each other or comprehending from each other what's really happening in the relationship. Because sometimes you can feel like, oh, everything's going great. I'm happy. I think they're happy. So, yeah, everything's going great. And the other person's miserable. They're like,
Yeah.
man, I'm looking for an out. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to dump this chick or I'm trying to figure out how I can get her to dump me, because y'all not on the same page, or you're not even listening when the person is explaining to you, like, look, this isn't working for me, and you're like, oh, well, that just means I got to try harder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you see people do that all the time. I mean, it happens so often because somebody's so enthusiastic, thinking that, oh, I got this together.
I
I'll
think
make
my
this
problem
work.
is I'm stubborn as fuck. I'm like, okay, all right, well, I ain't even
Hmm.
gonna lie. I think it's my Taurus creeping in and a little stubbornness that is me. It's like, but see, this is I'm big on communicating. I'm very big on communicating, and I just for me it feels like I'm very expressive about things. If something bothers me, I'll express that to you. Me expressing it to you is for us to fix it, not for it to keep being a problem. Because I don't want to keep having the same conversation if like we're having the same conversation. And it's like I'm always looking for clarity because I don't want to feel dumb, look dumb, or think something's one way and it's completely not. So, and like I said to you, and I keep stressing it to people that I date. I'm very black and white. There's no in between. So if there's an in between and I'm on the fence, there's a problem because I'm unsettled because I need clarity. So it's almost like this. Okay, so if I feel like you're either pushing me away or whatever, how everything's going good, then all of a sudden it just slows down.
All right.
It's like just a conversation. What's going on? Because I noticed this. Like, do you not like me anymore? Like, what's the situation? And and the way I do it, I start off like that, and and then I also say, well, if this is what it is, let me know, and I'll just I'll walk off because I'm not gonna feel like I'm chasing no grown ass person to be around me and spend time with me or be with me, and that's not what you want. So if that's not what you want no more. Let me know. And it's always that why you gotta take it to the extreme. I'm not taking it to the extreme. I'm just trying to be clear because there's obviously a disconnect.
Right. Hmm.
And I need clarity because I'm not going to continue. If I feel like I'm stupid, bothering you, and otherwise, then I need to hear you say, and that's one of my best friends said, why do I do that? Why do I need to hear you basically tell me, like, nah, I'm good. It's done. Or, I don't anymore, whatever the case may be. I need to hear that. Because then once I hear that, I'm good. Okay, you ain't got to worry about me. I'm out. But like when it gets to that and it's that uncertainty, that's the first question I'm asking. Okay, so what's going on? You done?
Right. Right.
It's almost too direct because some people don't want to hurt your feelings, and it's like no, hurt my feelings because I need to know that so I can not talk to you. And that's the thing. It's like they kind of like you. They want to hold on to you, but at that point they're not ready. But rather than say I'm not ready, you just still want me to be around.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Yeah, you
like for me,
definitely see that a lot.
I need clarity because I don't got time. I'm 36. I don't have time to waste time.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
other
not.
thing. That's the other thing to me is when you get to a certain age, you do realize the not it's not about your mortality really. It's just about your like you say your appreciation of time, right? You feel like, hey,
Yeah.
I got a limited amount of time that I want to deal with this situation or deal with this portion of my life in this state, and I want to move on to something bigger and better, or I want to move on to something more meaningful, and you give less chances, right? Or you less what's the word I want to use? You're not as patient with that process. You're like, look, let's just get through this, and I think
No,
sometimes
because
people
I'll
have to
try
be
to
conscious of that.
review. No, but there's a conflict that can be resoluted. I'm there for it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But sometimes it can be real hot and then it can be real cold.
Mhm.
And when you pick up on things like that, and I always tell people as much as I talk, I pay attention to everything. So if I notice that things are starting to change where you talk to me every day, now you're not talking to me every day.
Right.
Now,
Right.
you know, you talk to me until you fall asleep. Now you don't call me, you just go to sleep. So little things like that will make me pay attention. And then at some point when we're around each other, we're going to have a conversation. It's
Right.
not me picking a fight. It's me trying to understand because I see that there's a difference. So what's the issue, and can we fix it, or are we done?
Mm. Do you always
And then,
assume that it means that
like,
you're done, or do you give it a chance that it's just something's different? You
no,
you
because
make the
me,
assumption.
I'm an overthinker, which is a problem in itself.
Okay, right, right.
Extreme overthinker. So if something is different, I'm already in my mind. You fucking somebody else. So
Damn.
no, and I'm not even like, and it might not be good. Our listeners tell me, let me know this is not good, but that's just I'm an extreme overthinker. So I
Yeah,
think
you don't have to wait for the listeners. I'll let you know now. Yeah, yeah, it's not good.
and no,
Don't overthink.
extreme overthinker, but like here's why it's got me like this. So I'm extreme overthinker, and then you talking to somebody that was all lovey dovey with somebody, and then got the rug pulled up under them. Out of left field, they had no expectation that this was happening, and it happened. So now when patterns change, because I always say guys are a creature of habits with certain things. It's not like a super pattern, but the guy you date, you know him. If
Right.
you've been dating for a while, you know. And so when stuff changes, you like let's have a conversation, blah blah blah. And like I said, I'm an extreme overthinker, so I think worst case scenario. So if it's not that, I'm happy that it's not my worst idea. I'm a mentally get depressed about what I overthought, even though it didn't happen. In my mind, it's happened. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I probably cried about it, all that. And then when you told me what it was, I'm actually better than I was because I thought it was elsewhere with it. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. It's bad. I know it's bad. Um, but it being that I'm that type, and then on top of that, I'm stubborn. So it's two things against me already and against you that you need to know about me. And so I need that. Like if I'm constantly reassuring you that I'm here, not that I constantly need reassurance. I need you to settle my mind. So if I'm unsettled, we're gonna have a conversation because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. And if we're not, we need to either go get back on the same page or we're not. But I don't like that. That's an uneasy feeling for me. It's unsettling for me because my emotions is everywhere because I don't know what. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells because I don't know what's going on. I know that something has changed and I noticed it.
Mm.
Maybe I'm weird. I don't know, but that's just me. And like I said, I go to worst case scenario. You fucking somebody else, you done moved on. Like I had a whole dream motherfucker who came to me and was like, I'm taking to work, but I married somebody else. What?
Right.
Like, I was in my dream mad as fuck. Like, and then I woke up, my mind was there, you know?
Right.
And that's bad because you don't, I try not to be that way, but I can't help how I am.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
this,
I think a lot of times the overthinking does get you in trouble because, I mean, it creates that whole atmosphere of you feeling like the person that you're dealing with now is going to do things to you that the last person did, or whatever person it was that made you feel hurt by the situation or by the characteristics that this person is displaying. Um, I definitely suffer from overthinking as well, and I think it's the skeptic in me. It's the skeptic and the jealousy that I get from, part of my personality is I can be a jealous person, and so it causes me to think about things that may not even be happening. Like at least I kind of look at it that way.
I
Like,
get
look,
a kiss all the time. Like what?
yeah, yeah. I mean, and so I have to kind of take a step back. But luckily I do also have a very reasonable side too, where I'll be like, what, this is probably not really happening. I'm just probably reading too much into it. But um, I think that at times we have to realize too that things will change with time due to time, right? People will make adjustments in the way that they approach you or the way they do things because maybe they got comfortable or maybe they felt like, what, hey, I don't have to do as much anymore to show you that I'm interested because now I'm interested, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
we're at this point where you understand I'm into you, so I don't have to sit up till 3 in the morning on the phone listening to you breathe for you to know that I care. I feel like now I can do normal, regular day to day things. I don't have to, and sometimes we got to realize that person may have taken that approach and said, hey, I think I'm good now. I can relax now, where you're like, no, 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 stay on edge. If you love me, you're gonna stay on edge. You know what I mean? So, I think
I don't
sometimes
want
we have
anybody
to.
to stay on edge.
That's what you want him to do. If you want him to always call you and stay woke.
No, it's not. That's not me. That's not me. It's a pattern. So if you're
No,
dating me,
no, no. I know what you mean
I'm
by the
telling
pattern.
me.
No, I'm just picking with you about the one example
Don't
you
do
gave
that. Don't do
because
that.
low
I don't
key,
want
no,
people.
because
No,
low key, I felt that way before. I was it was a pattern that
I'm
somebody
a,
had and huh?
I said I'm a self-proclaimed nap queen. I like naps. I
Yeah,
like people to sleep.
yeah. But my
We
thing,
can be
no,
a
no,
date. Let's
my thing is I've been in that situation where I was looking at a pattern and I was like, oh, she's not following the same pattern or she's not doing the same thing like she used to, and it was just like I had to think about it, like, well, you know what? I think part of it is there's other things going on in her life or her lifestyle that she had to adjust, and the pattern couldn't be the same anymore, or like I mean I've literally had that situation where it was like, oh, this person is normally calling me, and I expect her to call me at this time every time, I dated this girl once that it was like she every morning, I would text her and say good morning, I'd send her a little message or whatever, and she would respond every morning. And for 2 days in a row, she didn't respond. And I'm like, oh shoot, what's she doing? She out here fucking, like you said, it's like I automatically jump to conclusions because the pattern got broken, right? And it just turned out she was just like, I had to, work late, blah blah blah, or whatever the excuse was. I can't remember what it was, but basically it was like her life had changed to the point where it was like she's like, I'm already at work. like, oh my bad, I didn't
yeah.
respond this morning. The last couple mornings I've been at work earlier, and it's like, oh dang, I wasn't even thinking about that,
Did
and
it and Wayne Hump? Who you fucking?
right, right. So, I
Like
think
who?
it,
Like I've been
yeah,
trying to get some of you. Let me know why.
right, right.
Why?
I mean, I think
I ain't talking Bill Cosby, but
right. So, I think a lot of times it's just a
that.
matter of understanding that people's intentions may not have changed, but their approach may have. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we do a lot of different things in order to get that person get the other person's attention, or to show them that we have interest, or to show them that we do have attention for them. But then it's like, okay, now that I have that, I don't have to do as much. But if your feeling is that you want certain things to stay the same, then you do have to express yourself and say, look, I really like it when you do this, or I really appreciate it when you do that. Can you continue to do this? Don't be afraid to ask, because a lot of times that's where the problems begin to happen, is when you say, you know what, I liked when this person did this, and now they don't do this, and now I'm just upset with them. But the other person doesn't know. You know what I mean? They are clueless.
Yeah.
They don't even know that this is something that's bothering you, or something that's gotten under your skin, and now you're holding that against them. You know what I mean? Because it becomes that one little thing. That's one thing I always tell people. It's not the big things that get people upset at you, make them blow up at you, make them break up with you, or make them feel like they can't trust you anymore. It's the one little thing. It's the tiniest thing. It's the old saying. It's always true. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not the big box or the package or the huge backpack. It's the straw. Never think there's one big thing that you did that ended your last relationship, or that messed up your last friendship, or that caused you to have animosity with your family. It was never one big thing. It was always one little thing, one tiny, the most minuscule, unnoticeable thing that made them say, you know what? To make them say, you know what? Enough is enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. Huh?
I said, always keep that in mind.
Yeah, it could be you didn't put the toilet seat down. You kept leaving it up.
Right. It wasn't that you cheated on her 6 times, or that you got 2 babies while you was in a relationship with her, or you ran up her credit card. None of that bothered her. It was that toilet seat. That's what killed the relationship.
Yeah, that's what killed it. That's what killed it. It always be like, or it be like you took it. She done went through all this shit, and you told her you don't want to cheat on her no more, and then somebody inbox her. It's over. She moved out. It's gone.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like in the age of social media, like people be cheating, but be cheating dumb. Like y'all cheating like y'all people don't know y'all passcodes, or you ain't linked to the iPad. Everybody linked to one thing. Like just doing dumbness.
Oh, right.
You logged in on the computer, but you logged in on your phone. People just log into the computer, and next thing you know, they caught you.
Right, no doubt.
Like y'all need not that y'all need to cheat better either. You don't like, and that's the thing I don't understand. It's like if you don't want to be with that person, leave them alone. Like there's no need to cheat. You don't want something, they're not doing something you want to do. They're not doing something that you think that they should be doing, or they haven't done what they needed to do for you, and you kept telling them, and they just don't. They still ain't get it. Leave their ass alone. Very simple. Very, very simple.
Right, no doubt.
Like at this point, there's too many people out here in these streets that you could be talking to. You don't gotta tolerate that nonsense. I need to tell myself this, whether I'm telling you guys this. But it's just dating now, and dating in this day and age is very, very difficult. A lot of people are not being their authentic selves. Some people are, and people are just not paying attention, and they want to make up these fantasies and make people who they want them to be, even though they're not that person.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be very choosy and mindful. And I keep seeing these memes saying, you only live one life, fuck on the first date. That might not be the wave.
Right. True that.
Like, I don't know, but it's definitely a learning curve. I'm officially about to quit dating in 2020. I think I'm about to take a sabbatical. So whatever the hell it is I'm doing, I think I'm about to take a sabbatical, because it's not like I know what I want, and that's one thing, you have to know what you want.
Right. Yeah.
If you're not getting it, figure out what's the issue, what are you attracting, how do you fix it, do something different. I don't know. At this point, I've evaluated myself. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I know that clearly there's something wrong.
I mean, the biggest advice I can give you, because I mean, listen to your couple situations, the biggest advice I would give you is that you probably want to do the checkpoint thing, understand where the person is going, what their intentions are, and if they don't have intentions, either realize that means that you either need to move on if you feel like that you do have intentions and it's not lined up with theirs, or that you have to realize that that's how it's going to go. I know I've been in situations where, um, the last relationship I was in, the young lady I was in a relationship with, we were friends, and she told me straight up, like, look, I'm dating another guy. And I really like him, and I really want to be with him. But I like you, and I have fun with you, so let's just kick it. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I had no problem with that because she made her intentions known to me up front. I had similar intentions where I felt like I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. I wasn't ready to settle down at that moment, and I know I didn't want to settle down with her. So when she said, let's just kick it, and of course, kicking it meant lots of dating and sex and everything else in between. So it was just like, okay, sounds fun. I'll do that. And so I approached it that way, and I was satisfied. And when the relationship ended, I was in a good place behind it. I think I actually ended it, but the thing is that I was in a good place behind it because I felt like my intentions were clear, her intentions were clear. I didn't feel slighted when I would call her up and she would be like, "Oh, I'm at old boy's crib." "Oh, okay, I'll catch up with you next time." Or, she felt like, she wanted to hang out and I would be busy or I would be out doing something. I had no problem telling her, "Look, I'm busy right now. I have to catch up with you next time." That kind of thing. It was like, it was an understanding. I think when you go into a relationship
See, I
that way,
smack Ryan in the face for that. Like, what? You fucking
you said,
tell
"What's
me.
that?"
Like, you know what you're doing. Just tell me you busy, and that's it. Don't tell me what the fuck you
Yeah.
doing. What the fuck you do? I don't want to hear that shit.
Well, it's when you have an understanding with a person, you can be open and honest, because my thing is, why lie, why
It's
why
not
make up
lying. It's
stories,
not what
you know what I mean?
you
Yeah, I don't need to know dirty details, of course, but the thing is too is, like if I pull up to your place and I see your car and then you're like, "Oh no, it's because I'm out," it's like, "Oh, okay, why lie, right?" So that was the only thing. But the thing is that, but we had a relationship. We had a understanding in our situation, right? And I think that's what most people don't understand is that if you think that you're in a relationship with somebody and they think they're just in a situation, of course that doesn't line up, you know, and it may be because you're taking steps that they're not. So
mm.
checkpoint, bring it back to them and say, look, this is where I'm going with this. This is the reason I'm doing these things. This is the reason I'm taking these steps. Just so you can find out what they're doing differently or not. You know what I mean? Or they can may say, oh, I'm doing the same thing, or I'm appreciating that because that's what I want. That kind of thing. Now if the person is lying to you, of course you don't know until you find out later. But at least you give them that opportunity to come clean or to be as
Mm.
wishy-washy as they want to be, and then you can take it from there. And then also realizing that when the person is being wishy-washy, take it for that. Don't feel like somebody being wishy-washy is them saying maybe or them saying yeah but later. Take it for what it is. Realize that that person's being wishy-washy. That means that you need to take a step back. Don't think that
Mhm.
you're gonna fix them by coming back hardcore, going rougher with it, going harder with it. It's not about to change their wishy-washy, especially with guys. Not to generalize us or nothing, but like you said earlier, you know, we basically have a on-off kind of mentality where it's like, either we're interested or we're not. It's usually fairly cut and dry. There's different there's different people who have different things about them that may be different, but for the most part, if we're interested, we are. If we're not, we won't be. But then you have that gray area, and if a guy's sitting in that gray area, you either have to realize that you want to deal with that gray area and be disappointed later, or that you're going to cut it short and say, you know what, I want the interest complete and wholehearted, not the gray area.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Or to find out that there is no gray area and that he's just not interested. He's interested in the situation, but he's not interested in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that going around. Because I mean, it's the social media age, right? People want something that looks good right now, not what looks good right later. They want something that's
Mm-hmm.
good for like at the moment. You know, it was just
I would never
Valentine's Day the
understand.
other day. People were posting, oh, I got this. I got this for my bae. I got this for my boo. But that was somebody different was giving them a gift on Sweetest Day. That was somebody different giving them a gift on their birthday. So they want something that's good for right now. That's good for likes at the moment. So you have to keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
I would never understand that part of it. It's like that's the part that I don't get. You know how you lay out what you want, you talk to the person, you're like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this, this, and this type of person. You meet the person with those qualities, but for whatever reason, you're not ready for them.
Hmm.
And you meet them. That's the person that you want. That's the type of person you want. You got it. And you still not, you still just fuck it up.
Because some people are
You're not ready
afraid.
for it.
I mean, to be honest with you, what it is some people are afraid. Even when they see the promised land, they get scared. I mean, if anybody is listening knows the Bible, there was a point in the Bible where it talks about people going to the promised land, and they were being told, it's coming, we're going to get there, we're going to eventually get there, and they were like over a hill, and people were still complaining about how long it was taking. It's like we're right here. It's just over this mountain right here, and we're going to be there. Just hold on a little longer. People are going to complain until they get there, or people are going to be afraid until they get there, or people are going to be skeptical until they get there. So don't feel like everybody's intentions are going to line up, or everybody's actions are going to line up with their intentions, because sometimes they do things and they say things and it doesn't match up. They're like, oh, I want to be married, I want a family, I want to build with this, build with a queen, blah blah blah, and then you start giving them that, and he's like, well, right now it's just not a good look for me. I'm still trying to do this for myself. I got my son over here, my baby mama tripping. You know what I'm saying? They start coming with the excuses, right? They start coming with all the extra stuff, and you're like, but wait, I thought you said 2 weeks ago you said you want to build with a queen. They're like, well, not you, queen. It's like it becomes something.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. Not you. Somebody else.
You know what I mean?
They probably
Somebody
don't
else.
want me.
Exactly. So there's a lot of nuances to people, and we got to realize that. That's what I mean about being prepared. You got to be prepared to deal with people, and some of us aren't built for that. Some of us aren't built to deal with people. We're gonna take it every situation and every moment as it comes. But the more prepared you are, and I think the more ready you are to deal with those things, the better off you'll be.
All right. Well, let's wrap the show before she cut us off.
Right, no doubt.
She infamous.
She
She's been cutting us off the
coming.
last couple of shows.
Right, she's coming.
Like 90 seconds. First of all, mind your business. Don't be interrupting us.
I know, right? Exactly. I'm trying to tell us we running late.
Right.
All right. Well, y'all can get at me at Willie Styles everywhere. That's STYLEZ. Willie Styles or Willie.Styles on Snapchat. At Willie Styles on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, a couple other places. WillieStyles.info for all my links, and get at me.
Yeah, and I am Sunny _D, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. On my blog, Unreservedly Me, which I have been neglecting.com. I'm gonna find my way back. I actually just got a little book to write in because now I write my problems out. I'm still writing to y'all too, so y'all can just randomly outburst on there. But go ahead and do that. Go to our Facebook page, GFT Radio, Facebook page, like and comment. There she go. Instagram and Twitter at GFT_radio. Go to our YouTube page. Type us in Google and like and subscribe, follow, do all that jazz to all of our social media outlets and places that you can find our podcast. Go to teespring.com/stores/GFT radio to cop some merch. Again, we got regular wear, we got hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeves, tote bags, coffee mugs, and kid stuff. Go there and cop that. Thank y'all for listening tonight. And Clint is not here, so Willie.
Catch us in 7 days.
Bye, guys.
Holla.